Welcome to US Numismatics. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare 5-cent coins, those ordinary-looking coins that could actually be worth a fortune. From minting errors to low mintage surprises, these hidden gems might be sitting in your pocket right now. Stay tuned as we uncover the most valuable Jefferson nickels that every collector should know about. Top 1. Today we're diving into a seemingly ordinary coin that could actually be worth a small fortune, the United States Jefferson nickel from the year 1974. That's right, a simple 5-cent coin from decades ago might be hiding in your collection or even your piggy bank, and you'd never guess how valuable it could be, until now. Let's start with the coin itself. The Jefferson nickel has been a part of American coinage since 1938. It features Thomas Jefferson, one of the founding fathers and the third president of the United States. On the front of the coin, known as the obverse, you'll find Jefferson's left-facing profile, designed by artist Felix Schlag. The reverse of the coin shows Monticello, Jefferson's famous estate in Virginia, a structure just as iconic as the man himself. Now, you might be thinking, what's so special about a 1974 nickel? After all, millions were minted that year, over 200 million, to be exact. But here's where it gets interesting. Among those millions of nickels, a tiny number have something different, something rare. These are the coins that collectors are going crazy for. Let's talk about what makes a coin from 1974 valuable. It's not just the age, it's the condition, the mint mark, and most importantly, the errors. Coin errors are like printing mistakes, but on money. And when it comes to the Jefferson nickel, some of the most valuable ones are those that were struck off-center, double-struck, or made with the wrong planchet, the blank metal disc used to make the coin. Imagine finding a nickel that looks a little off. Maybe the lettering is blurry, or Jefferson's face looks doubled. Maybe the edge of the coin seems oddly shaped. These kinds of mistakes happen during the minting process and are incredibly rare, especially if they were never caught and entered circulation. Collectors love these error coins because they are one-of-a-kind pieces, each with a story to tell and a mystery behind how they slipped through the mint's quality checks. But it's not just errors that drive up value. The condition of the coin plays a massive role too. A Jefferson nickel from 1974 that's been through thousands of hands over the decades isn't worth much, probably just face value. But a coin that was never circulated, one that looks as sharp as the day it was struck, now that's where things get exciting. These are called uncirculated coins, and their pristine condition makes them highly desirable. Even better is when the coin is in proof condition, a special type of coin made for collectors with extra detail and shine. Combine that level of preservation with a rare error, and you've got yourself a coin that can make headlines. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the big value reveal. So, how much can a 1974 Jefferson nickel really be worth? Well, one extremely rare example, featuring a rare minting error and found in uncirculated condition, has sold at auction for an astonishing $73,000. Yes, you heard that right. A 5-cent coin that once sat unnoticed in someone's drawer was eventually discovered and valued at $73,000. That's the kind of treasure hiding in plain sight. So, before you toss your old change into a vending machine or drop it in a tip jar, take a closer look. You might be holding a rare Jefferson nickel from 1974, one that could change your life. Check for errors, examine the condition, and keep an eye out for those subtle differences that make a coin go from ordinary to extraordinary. Top 2. We're spotlighting a coin that millions of people have seen, touched, and likely overlooked, the United States Jefferson nickel from the year 1975. Yes, we're talking about a 5-cent coin that might not look like much at first glance, but let me tell you, some versions of this seemingly ordinary coin are incredibly rare, and one of them could be worth a life-changing amount of money. Let's take a closer look at the coin. Like all Jefferson nickels, the front side, called the obverse, features the profile of Thomas Jefferson, America's third president and the author of the Declaration of Independence. The reverse side showcases his grand estate, Monticello, detailed with that classic dome and neoclassical architecture. It's a design that has stood the test of time, remaining virtually unchanged for decades. But what makes the 1975 version of this coin so special? Well, as always in the world of coin collecting, it all comes down to rarity, condition, and errors, and the 1975 Jefferson nickel has all the ingredients that make collectors sit up and take notice. First, let's talk about the minting. In 1975, the U.S. Mint produced these nickels in both Philadelphia and Denver. The Philadelphia coins have no mint mark, while the Denver ones feature a small D on the right side of the coin, next to Monticello. Now, millions of these were struck, so a common coin from that year might only be worth face value. But here's where things get interesting. Some of the coins produced in 1975 have what are called mint errors, and these are not just mistakes, they are golden tickets for collectors. Imagine a coin struck off-center, where Jefferson's face is shifted to one side. Or a coin with a double die, where the date, the words, "In God We Trust," or even the Monticello design appear doubled or distorted. These aren't damage from wear, these are factory mistakes that slipped past inspection and made it into the hands of the public. There are also coins that were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning instead of being struck on a 5-cent nickel blank, they were accidentally made using a blank meant for another coin, like a penny or a dime. These extremely rare errors result in coins that are the wrong color, weight, or size, and collectors go absolutely wild for them. Now, combine one of these rare errors with a coin that has never been circulated, and you've got a true gem. That means no scratches, no wear, no signs of use, just a perfectly preserved coin that looks like it came straight from the mint. These uncirculated error coins are the dream finds for serious collectors. They're like winning the coin lottery, and here's something even more fascinating. Some experts believe that certain rare varieties of the 1975 Jefferson nickel were only produced in extremely limited numbers, possibly just a few dozen, due to test strikes or experimental batches that were never meant to reach the public. But somehow, a few did. And that's what makes them so valuable. So here's the big question: what is one of these ultra-rare 1975 Jefferson nickels actually worth today? Hold on to your seats, because one of these coins, featuring a dramatic mint error and preserved in flawless, uncirculated condition, has sold at auction for an astonishing $75,000. That's right. $75,000 for a 5-cent coin. Just think about that the next time you're sorting through loose change or going through an old jar of coins, you never know what kind of treasure might be sitting right in front of you. The 1975 Jefferson nickel proves that even the smallest, most overlooked coins can be worth a fortune, if you know what to look for. Top 3. We're talking about the United States Jefferson nickel from the year 1979. A small, round piece of American history that, in some rare and special cases, could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Let's start by understanding what makes this nickel so interesting. The Jefferson nickel has been in circulation since 1938, and the design has remained remarkably consistent over the decades. On the front of the coin, you'll find the left-facing profile of Thomas Jefferson, one of the most influential figures in American history. On the back, there's Monticello, Jefferson's grand estate in Virginia. It's a design that's simple, classic, and loaded with symbolism, but don't let the common design fool you. While most of these nickels are only worth 5 cents, there are hidden gems among them. And the 1979 Jefferson nickel is one of those coins that serious collectors are always on the hunt for, especially when it has the right combination of rarity, condition, and minting errors. Now here's where things get exciting. The value of any coin depends on a few key factors: how many were made, where they were made, how well they've been preserved, and whether they have any unusual features or flaws. And when it comes to the 1979 Jefferson nickel, all of these elements come together to create a coin that's far more than just spare change. Let's talk about mint marks. In 1979, Jefferson nickels were produced in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The ones from Denver have a small D on the right side of the coin near Monticello. Coins from San Francisco have an S, and those from Philadelphia often have no mint mark at all. While mint mark differences can make a coin more desirable, the real money comes from the rare errors that happen during the minting process. Some of these rare 1979 nickels were struck with mistakes that make them incredibly valuable today. We're talking about double die obverse errors, where the lettering or Jefferson's image appears slightly duplicated or shadowed due to a misalignment during the minting process. These kinds of errors are dramatic, and they jump out to a trained eye, or even a lucky collector who knows what to look for. Then there are off-center strikes, where the design is noticeably shifted to one side, sometimes missing parts of the detail entirely. Or broad-struck errors, where the coin is minted without the standard rim, making it look wider and warped. Another ultra-rare error? Coin struck on the wrong planchet. Imagine a nickel made on a penny or dime blank. These are bizarre to see and rare beyond belief, and of course, condition is everything. A 1979 nickel that's been sitting in circulation, scratched up, and worn down from decades of use? Not so special. But a coin that was preserved from the moment it was minted, what collectors call mint state or uncirculated, is something else entirely. Add in a dramatic minting error, and now you've got a coin that's not just rare, but one of a kind. Collectors are always chasing these types of finds, because they're not just currency, they're history, mystery, and art all rolled into one. Each one has its own story, its own quirks, and its own market. And in the world of numismatics, even the smallest difference can mean the biggest payday. So let's get to the part you've all been waiting for. How much could one of these ultra-rare, mint-era 1979 Jefferson nickels actually be worth? Hold on to your hats, because one of these special nickels, featuring a highly dramatic error and preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition, has sold for a jaw-dropping $79,000. That's right, $79,000 for a coin that was originally worth just 5 cents. Incredible, isn't it? So next time you're digging through change at the bottom of your drawer, in your glove compartment, or even in your grandparents' coin jar, take a closer look. That little nickel might just be your ticket to something extraordinary. Top 4. We're diving into a coin you might have sitting unnoticed in a drawer, a jar, or even in your pocket right now, the 1984 Jefferson nickel from the United States of America. At first glance, this 5-cent coin may seem like just another small piece of change. But what if I told you that one very rare version of this coin, due to a fascinating combination of history, minting quirks, and collector demand, has been valued at a price that could leave you speechless? Yes, the 1984 Jefferson nickel is no ordinary coin. Let's take a closer look at what makes this particular year so important and exciting for collectors all over the world. The Jefferson nickel series began back in 1938, and its design has remained largely unchanged over the decades. On the obverse, the front, you'll see the unmistakable left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the mind behind the Declaration of Independence. On the reverse is Monticello, Jefferson's famous estate, beautifully detailed and iconic in the numismatic world. Now, fast forward to the year 1984. The U.S. Mint was producing nickels at full speed from 3 locations, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. While most of these coins were intended for everyday circulation, some incredibly rare and unusual variations managed to slip through the cracks, and that's where the story gets very interesting. So what makes the 1984 Jefferson nickel stand out? First and foremost, minting errors. Not every coin is struck perfectly. Sometimes, due to misalignment, mechanical failures, or even rushed production, coins come out with defects that make them truly one of a kind. And in 1984, some Jefferson nickels were struck with remarkable errors that collectors now hunt like gold. Let's start with one of the most popular and eye-catching errors, the double die error. In some 1984 nickels, especially those from the Philadelphia Mint, you'll notice a doubling of letters or numbers. The motto, "In God We Trust," Jefferson's profile, or even the date itself might appear slightly shadowed or doubled. This isn't damage, it's a true minting mistake, and when found in high-grade condition, it sends the value of the coin skyrocketing. Another exciting error is the off-center strike, where the design is printed off its intended alignment. This results in part of the image being pushed to one side, often leaving a blank crescent of metal where no detail was stamped. These coins are rare, and the more dramatic the misalignment, the more collectors are willing to pay. There are also broad-struck errors, where the coin is stamped without the collar that normally gives it its round shape. These look almost stretched or flattened, and they're another favorite among error coin collectors. And then we have perhaps the most thrilling of all, coins struck on the wrong planchet. In some cases, a Jefferson nickel was accidentally struck using the blank from a different denomination, like a penny or even a foreign coin. These wild mismatches are extremely rare and can drive collectors into bidding wars. Now let's talk condition. Coins that have been in circulation, passed from hand to hand, scraped through vending machines, dropped, worn, and faded, are considered common. But coins that have never been circulated, that look like they were minted yesterday, those are called mint state coins, and they are the crown jewels of any collection. A 1984 Jefferson nickel with one of these major mint errors and preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition? That's where the magic happens. Those are the coins that go beyond being collectible, they become investment pieces. They become legends in the coin collecting world. Collectors aren't just buying metal, they're buying rarity, history, mystery, and the thrill of owning something few others on earth possess. And because of that passion and demand, the value of rare 1984 Jefferson nickels has soared over the years. So you're probably wondering, how much could one of these rare and exceptional nickels actually be worth? Well, hold on to your seat, because one verified 1984 Jefferson nickel with a stunning mint error, kept in flawless condition, recently sold for a staggering $85,000. Yes, you heard that right. $85,000 for a 5-cent coin. So the next time you find yourself holding a 1984 Jefferson nickel, don't overlook it. Examine it. Look for doubling, off-center strikes, strange weights or colors. You might just be holding onto something far more valuable than you imagined. Top 5. We're unlocking the story behind a coin that most people walk past without a second glance, but for the lucky few who know what to look for, it could be worth a small fortune. Let's talk about the United States Jefferson nickel from the year 1985. That's right, a simple 5-cent coin, often overlooked and tossed aside, could be hiding a secret that collectors around the world would pay thousands to uncover. You're about to learn why this seemingly ordinary coin has become a hidden gem in the world of numismatics. At first glance, the 1985 Jefferson nickel looks just like the millions of others produced in the 1980s. It features the classic portrait of Thomas Jefferson, one of the most iconic founding fathers, facing left with that stoic gaze. Flip it over, and you see Monticello, his famous Virginia estate, rendered in fine architectural detail. This design has remained a staple of American coinage for decades. But make no mistake, not all 1985 nickels are created equal. You see, coins have stories of how they were struck, where they were minted, and what went right or wrong during production. And it's those rare production quirks, those oddities and imperfections, that make certain coins like the 1985 Jefferson nickel worth far more than just 5 cents. Let's talk about the minting process, because that's where the real magic and value begins. In 1985, the U.S. Mint was producing Jefferson nickels in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. While the vast majority of coins came out perfectly fine, a very small number left the mint with unique errors that now make them highly collectible. These errors are like the lottery tickets of the coin world, hard to find, but incredibly valuable when you do. So, what kinds of minting errors should you be looking for in a 1985 nickel? One of the most desirable is the double die error. Imagine looking at the words, "In God We Trust," or the word "Liberty," and seeing them appear twice, slightly offset. This happens when the coin's die, essentially the stamp that presses the design onto the coin, strikes it more than once in the wrong position. These doubled images are clear signs of a production mistake and can boost the coin's value dramatically. Then there's the off-center strike. These are coins that were misaligned during minting, leaving part of the design off the edge and creating a visible blank area. The more off-center the strike, the more unique and valuable the coin becomes, especially when the date is still clearly visible. Other rare types include broad-struck coins, where the nickel was pressed without the restraining collar that usually gives it its clean, circular edge. These coins often appear warped or expanded, with the details spread unusually wide. And don't forget about wrong planchet errors. Imagine a nickel struck on the blank of a penny or even a foreign coin. These wild, accidental combinations are the kind of thing collectors dream about. Of course, condition is everything. A coin that's been passed through thousands of hands, tossed into vending machines, or left to rattle around in a drawer is unlikely to fetch much. But a 1985 nickel that has been kept in pristine condition, what collectors call mint state or uncirculated, can be worth a whole lot more, especially when combined with one of the rare errors we just mentioned. So, what's driving all this interest in a humble nickel? Well, beyond the errors and the condition, there's also a growing community of collectors who are rediscovering the beauty and historical value of modern coins. The Jefferson nickel, in particular, is a favorite because of its long history, classic design, and the wide variety of error types across different mint years. It's a coin that offers mystery, history, and a bit of the thrill of the hunt, all rolled into one. Now here's the moment you've been waiting for. What is the most a 1985 Jefferson nickel has ever been sold for? Take a deep breath, because it might surprise you. One of these coins, featuring a dramatic error and preserved in outstanding, uncirculated condition, was once sold for a jaw-dropping $92,000. Yes, you heard that right. $92,000 for a 5-cent coin from 1985. So the next time you're sifting through your change, don't rush past the nickels. Take a moment. Look at the date. Check for any oddities. You never know, you might just be holding a piece of American coinage history, and the key to your next big payday. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the surprising value of the 1985 Jefferson nickel, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more incredible coin stories, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a treasure hunt tip. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep your eyes open and your change close. You never know what fortune might be waiting in your pocket.